This is Dr. Maher Badr. I want to just talk about the ACI certification called Field Testing Technician Grade 1. Now, many engineers and project managers and ready-mix concrete and they tell me we want to take ACI certification as quality technical manager, as concrete construction inspector, as concrete inspector, and so on. I always tell them, do you have the ACI Field Testing Technician Grade 1, which is this course? And they will say, okay, what is this? I tell them this is the entrance level for ACI. ACI requires everybody to go first in this one before you go into other courses. So we go into this question, why? What is this? He will tell me, I'm not a lab technician. I'm not the person who is testing the concrete in the lab. So ACI International made a big study for many years now and said that because we want the concrete to be consistent and we want the concrete to be of good quality, okay, we have to test it. And we now test concrete every day when we are constructing anything. The concrete concrete production facility will test it. When they go to the site, they will take a sample to test it, and if there is a consultant, he will also take a test. So we want those tests to be consistent. We want those tests to give us the same results. And the results of all those tests depend on the operator who is doing the test, and they depend on the equipment he's using. So the ACI, what they did is they chose, for example, 10 different labs, and each lab they chose 2 or 3 people and give everybody the same mix. And they told them, give us the slump test, the air content, the density and temperature, and all this information. And then they monitor each person, how did he do the test. And they took the data and they found there is a variation in the data. One guy said the slump is different than the other guy, the temperature and so on. So what they did, they said, okay, how can we make them give us data which is closer, not far, close together. So they say the best way to do it is to put rules and regulation on every person how to do the test after, of course, evaluating the persons who were doing the test correctly, as we say. So they said, if you want to do the slump test, you have those 20 different steps you have to follow. And those steps include how you move your hand, where you stand, how you hold something, how many minutes or seconds you have to do this, and so on. So what they did was they made a 25-point steps where you have to follow to make a slump test. Whereas in the old days, people will say, oh, slump is very simple. I put the concrete here, I make tick, 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 and then open and measure it. Now, in order to be sure that the slump will be the same by everybody, we will decide how they collect the sample. We will decide how they can touch the sample, how they move the sample, how they put the sample, how they rod the concrete, how many times they rod it, what is the inclination of the rod, how does he, before he starts, does he clean the wet the facility, the equipment he's using, and so on. So many steps. Once you do all those steps according to ACI, so it is ACI certification procedure, you do the test, then the results will be much closer to each other. Now, so once you take this course, it's shocking. If you are even a big boss or a designer, you feel, wow, I should respect concrete. Concrete is really simple. It's only cement, aggregate, and sand and water. No. It's really a complex issue because the end product will affect whether the building would live for 15, 20, 30, 50 years. So if you have a good design, concrete mix design, and the bad operators, you will not get enough durability in the concrete. So we need to make the process complete. Somebody makes a good mix design, the operators are following ACI certification. Notice the operators have nothing to do with the design. Many people think that the guys who are taking or working on the concrete should know the quality of the mix. They don't. It's not their job. The job of the mix, quality of the mix, is somebody else. He's a designer. He is the initiator. But then they are responsible for how the fresh concrete is handled on the site, and then how it is handled in the laboratory. So this is the part